Hello, welcome to Module 5 of your journey into Promised Land living. When I was a little kid, I lived in Tampa, Florida, and in those days we didn't have a whole lot of air conditioning going on around our house, and I was scared of the dark. I was petrified of the dark. I don't know why, but for some reason I believed that when the lights went out in my room, monsters would come out from under my bed and out of my closets. And if I was in the middle of the bed and completely covered so that none of my body or my skin was open to the air, I was safe. But if any part of my body got outside the covers, the monsters would get me. So every night I would lay in the bed, absolutely still, with the covers over my head, cuddled up into the cocoon, frozen in fear, until I had eventually just fell asleep from exhaustion. Now, again, this is Florida, and it's hot, and I'd be soaked and drenched in sweat, and my parents were trying their best to try to talk me out of this. They would say, look, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. But I was afraid. And they'd flip off the lights and close the door. I'd throw up the covers. They'd open the door, flip on the lights, trying to catch me and talk me out of it. But they just couldn't do it. I was terrified. And I remember one night I was laying there and sweat's rolling down my face, and I just decided that I would rather die than keep living like this. So I threw the covers down and waited for the monsters to kill me. And I waited, and I waited. Nothing happened but cool air. And I remember my amazement as I lay there feeling a breeze on my body and drifting off to sleep. Well, the next night, I go to bed and I'm curious. Maybe the monsters were just playing with me. Maybe they were just messing with my mind, and tonight was the night they were going to get me. So they flipped off the light, they closed the door, and I took the covers and I lowered them down from my chin and waited. Again, nothing but cool air. Night after night I did this until eventually, when the lights went out and the door was closed, I didn't bother at all to pull the covers up. I just turned over and went to sleep, enjoying the cool air and no longer sweating to death all night long. What if you were playing by rules of life that were actually restricting your ability to thrive? They were causing you to sweat things that really aren't real or important, or were causing you to not be able to fully reach your potential. Module 5 is about overcoming the barriers that keep you from entering into the fullness of Promised Land living, the fullness that God has created you with and the plans that He has for you. And it's these barriers that we form in our mind and in our behaviors that come from the lies that we have believed that rob us of God's best. We want to encourage you to really focus in Module 5 and face these barriers and have the courage to throw the covers down, so to speak, and let God show you what He can really do if you'll trust Him. Hope you enjoy Module 5.